Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your September 2017 General Tarot reading. It's Rena here. Before I begin, I am promoting a series of videos on Vimeo, and this is for single people. It's called Ready for Love, and it's kind of like what I do for my love readings on YouTube, but I devised a spread that is instructional as well as the typical predictive elements to it, and it also incorporates oracle cards. So I'll provide a link below as well as the link for getting a private reading if you would like. Okay, so this is, I mean, I did shuffle, but let's see here. Now, I always say this for the umpteenth time that I am a Sun in Sagittarius. So all of these things, when they're general forecasts, I always kind of am interested in what it has to say, and I can apply it to my own life as well. Okay. I picked the last card here. All right, well, before even getting into anything, obviously this is a general focus, so it could include career matters, love matters, family, anything. I can see right away that the energy surrounding September for Sagittarius, according to this particular general spread, and we have to really emphasize that this is general, because it is easy to get sucked into something and think, wow, this is going to be totally about me. And you have to realize how many Sagittarians are on the planet. But when I did this, when I put out these cards, I was thinking about myself. And there's a lot of decisions that have to be made. Okay? And I'm already feeling it, you guys. I don't know about you. I'm recording this on the solar eclipse day of August 21st. And some of you may be watching in September before, August before September begins. And so you may also be feeling that change is in the air, but some decisions are also up in the air, where you don't know exactly if you're going to go here or you're going to go there. A lot of Sagittarians are dealing with issues surrounding moving, because the fourth house of home and family was triggered in February with a solar eclipse. If you can recall back then. We had eclipses back in February. And it was a new moon and all that, but it was a solar eclipse. So that aftermath has led us to possibly, some people may have already moved by then, but some people are still like, you know, should I even go? Should we just stay here? Remember that we're dealing with a Mercury retrograde for the first 5 days of the month, and then it still will be in its shadow until around the time of the new moon in Virgo. And that's happening on the 20th. So there still is that state of flux, and I think this reading really emphasizes that, but because Sagittarius is a mutable sign, it's like we're all good because we are flexible. We don't need to make major decisions at a certain time. We're capable of waiting if we have to, even when we're impatient. And of course, you know, you're not just your sun sign, so you may have parts of you that are kind of resistant to change. Okay, let's do this. So this is the overall message. Two of Pentacles. Should I stay? This could be some of you actually. Well, this is should I stay or go. This is, you could be receiving a job offer overseas. You see the ship in the background. Pentacles is dealing with practical matters. So you could be dealing with some kind of job offer that's far away and you don't know if you should take it. For some people, it's simply working 2 jobs and kind of like juggling your finances or juggling your time because of these commitments for work. So it could simply say you're going to be busy. Multiple income streams, very kind of a hectic thing going on, but it could be a good money month because you are bringing, you're raking it in from different avenues. But you might be very consumed with work. Now let's look at the past tense. By the way, this could also be relationship related. I wouldn't be surprised if some of you are dealing with 2 different people. The Death card is usually talking, this is in the past tense, of something that has ended, whether you wanted it to or not. So why you would be kind of ambivalent about something when this card is in the past position is interesting. I think that I would say that this is related to marriage for some people, that you have a marriage that may be pretty much dead, but you still believe that there is some kind of a dilemma that needs to be made. Now, it may not be on your end. You may be in love with somebody. Maybe you've been with them for a long time, and they're the ones that are choosing between you and another person. The other thing, too, is that the 2 of Swords, which is talking about the present tense, this indicates a stalemate. So, it's also possible that you're with somebody, and I'm talking about a marriage situation or the equivalent of a marriage, a committed partnership, and you have an offer and that other person doesn't want to move, and you're both at loggerheads. That person wants to stay here, they don't want to relocate, and you don't want to stay, you want to do your own thing. And I would say in that sense, the Death card could be indicating that the relationship is already over, and this is just like kind of a glaring reminder of why you're incompatible with this person, because you're not on the same page. The Death card relates to Scorpio, so that could also be a hint at who's involved or what's happening. The higher message is another 2. So you have duality when you have 2s. And this is the one, should I stay or should I go? Now, on the spiritual level, if you see this person is holding the world in their hands, and, somebody pointed out to me when I had mentioned this before that there was another hand on this, one of the wands, which is really fascinating. And I always say I'm going to look it up, and I never do, because I keep forgetting right after I do this reading. So I hope I can remember to look that up to find out what that symbolizes. One thing they teach us, not that I went through Tarot University or anything, but in the books that I've read, is that you should interpret it in the way that feels comfortable or right for you. And what I would say, without knowing what the official interpretation is that that other hand is pointing to somebody else being in the picture and determining or affecting your decision. So the fact that it's on a wands tells me that it's somebody else is impacting your career. And, if you have a job offer overseas and somebody doesn't want you to go, like your spouse, that could affect your career in the future. You may stay where you are and you will never progress to the extent that you would over there. So that could be detrimental to you overall, and you would have to kind of own that because you allowed the other person to have a hand in your decision. Now, I suppose you can't just live in a vacuum. If you are in a relationship, you do have to consider the other person, but still. Now, what crosses you is represented by and this is a challenge, is the 3 of Wands. Before I say that, I just want to say about the 2 of Wands that as a spiritual message, it's like, how do you allow other people to impact your important decisions? And are you willing, if you do go along with what somebody else wants, are you willing to own that and not to throw it in their face when you have a fight later on and say, well, you made me do this and you're the victim? Okay, so when you're making important decisions, you have to make them from a place, if you agree to quote-unquote sacrifice something that's your dream for somebody else, then it's really not a sacrifice because you're happy to do it. So it's not something that you're going to use as ammo to rub in somebody's face in the future. The challenge card with the Three of Wands, this is a card of expansion. This is really a card, I don't know if it's connected to Sagittarius specifically, but it should be, because we are expansive. You see the mountains in the distance. It's about the bigger picture. It is about foreign travel, okay? And, you know, hello, this solar eclipse is in the 9th house, our natural house, in Leo. And the North Node is in Leo for the next 18 months. So there's a lot of travel destiny for Sag. But this is in the challenge position. I think this could be as simple as indecision. And this is how I'm reading it for my own life, where everything isn't sorted out, okay? You may have a strong desire to leave where you are, but you still don't know exactly where your next move is going to be, or, you know, the logistics and stuff like that. And so the timing may be off, but that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It just may mean that you have to get everything totally sorted out. What is coming in, or the advice, I always give both options, is represented by the Seven of Cups. This is a card of confusion, wishful thinking, which I don't really like to use that as a bad word, because I think it is good to wish for things. But it can be confusion because you have different options, you have a lot of freedom perhaps. And freedom is wonderful, but sometimes it can be so confusing because it's so open-ended, you know. And this card is about be careful what you wish for, but also about choose wisely. I think that's the best context for this, for what's happening overall in this reading, is don't go for the thing that seems the most seductive on the outside, because that could turn out to be one of those creatures like in the upper left. Not that it looks seductive to begin with, but you know what I'm saying. If you're involved with somebody, if there's some kind of you choosing between somebody, one of those persons could be a water sign. And I was saying Scorpio might be involved with that. The other water signs are Pisces, and I could see a Pisces because I think this card connects to Neptune. And that's where the illusion comes in of okay, you're really believing that this person is a certain way, and they may be putting on this great face. That and you know, to tell you the truth, and I don't like to say these negative things, but with people, it is especially important if you are in a romantic relationship or you are talking to somebody at that initial stage. If somebody tries to present themselves as such a perfect specimen where they're always agreeing with you, they're never getting angry, or, you know, I mean, I'm not talking about rage, but they're always acting like the person, the perfect person. Sometimes that's an act, a real act, and you don't find out until it's too late that the person is not what they seem. However, it really is never too late in most cases. You can still get out of that situation, but the point is that when somebody presents themselves as too good to be true, they probably are. We are, as Sagittarians, we tend to be very authentic people, and we think everybody else is like us, and it ain't so. And, you know, sometimes you have to learn the hard way, but it's better not to. It's better to just, you know, not being overly suspicious, but just kind of observing people and seeing how they act and seeing if they seem sincere, you know. But anyway, I love this outcome. The King of Wands is really about taking charge of your own life. There's a lot of wavering in this. There's a lot of kind of, it's a little bit wishy-washy, okay? And I reserve the right to be wishy-washy sometimes. I have a lot of mutability in my particular chart. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like if you have like a lot of Scorpio or Taurus, I have Taurus rising, but if you have a lot of like Leo or Scorpio or Aquarius, that kind of stuff, these are fixed signs, and that makes it harder for you to kind of go with the flow. You tend to latch onto an idea and that's it. And it's very important not to do that sometimes, especially if you're making major changes in your life, because you have to consider all options. Sometimes, like this card suggests, you initially think something it looks very appealing, but it turns out that it's not as great as it seems. And the same thing goes for people. This card, in terms of people, because sometimes court cards, or they usually relate to people, can indicate a male, maybe a mature fire sign, or very fiery, temperamental, no, not temperamental, but a fiery male temperament, if not the sun sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, who is a very dynamic person. This may be professional, where they are helping you if you have your own job, or if they are the leader, they are a dynamic leader, and you feel comfortable making that choice, even if it's like something where you have to go overseas. You feel like you're in good hands. But this could also be in your love life. You might meet a man like this, and this is kind of what Sagittarians resonate with, a fire sign. More often than not, you will get along with another fire sign. It may get a little bit loud sometimes, but you'll get along with them. So it looks good, and I'm looking forward to September, and I'm keeping my options open. I hope that you do too. So good luck to you guys, and take care of yourselves. Bye.